Welcome back to the Quiet Man series, episode 20. I have to admit the lessons will come in thick and fast now. The chapter is titled Count Your Blessings. Being back in Britain was a culture shock. A complete and utter culture shock. I'd forgotten about the class system. I'd forgotten about accents predetermining who you were and what position you had in society. I'd forgotten about the attitude people had. It was a complete culture shock. And I had made my mind up to go back to the States, except for one thing that happened. It's a personal thing and it's in the book. I stay, pursuing my opportunity with Dale Carnegie. I'm attending an early morning seminar at the Inns of Court up in central London. And at the end of it, this woman gets up and just unsolicited, she shares something that made the hairs on the back of my neck stick up. She turned around and she said, "The moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from that decision, raising in one's favour all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance which no one could have dreamed would have come their way. Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power and magic in it. Begin it now." And as she spoke those words, I said, the hairs on the back, and I went, wow. And I pledged to myself right there in that room, I'm going to learn that. For those who want to know where it comes from, it's from the German Shakespeare, Goethe, Johann Goethe. I committed to stay, even though everything inside me was screaming, go back to the US. I stayed in Britain to pursue this opportunity with Dale Carnegie. I said in the previous chapter that I realised the only way I was going to get business was to talk to people that ran businesses. So I started hunting out all the entrepreneurs and all the business owners I could find in South London. I created a mailing list, I put on events, I would call them up, I'd invite them to seminars. One of the chaps I came across was a man called Joe Adams, Managing Director of Encyclopaedia Britannica. Joe had set up a very successful organisation selling Encyclopaedia Britannicas to London. He liked the cut of my jib, and we got into some discussions. I think he was trying to recruit me, really. The thing about sales is you're either selling or you're being sold to. Joe was trying to sell me on joining him in Encyclopaedia Britannica. I was trying to sell him on sending some of his people on Dale Carnegie. I actually won that one. And Joe had been very successful in building an organisation by taking people and training them, take people with the attitude that they wanted to improve themselves, and then he would give them the skill set to go out and be more of who they wanted to be. It's the fundamental core ethos of building any direct sales force. People that want to do it and want to be better. Joe shared with me a story. He said, "I'm amazed at how many times I help people succeed and then they revert. They slip back to the way they were before they saw the wider possibility." There was a film called Educating Rita with Julie Walters and Michael Caine, where Michael Caine is a professor and Julie Walters is a young working class woman that wants to aspire. And Michael Caine helps her. She improves. Julie Walters rises above her roots, but her family are trying to pull her back in. And Julie Walters recognises that she has to cut the past for her to move forward. And Joe Adams summed it up quite succinctly. He said, "I help these people improve themselves. They ascend, they start to get above, they start to be more, and then the structure they have around them sucks them back." He called it suck back. And it was the seed of an idea that I'll write on in probably about 15 chapters' time. The other thing that Joe Adam introduced me to was the idea of, is the glass half full or half empty? Everybody's well aware of the difference between a pessimist and an optimist. An optimist sees the glass as being half full. The pessimist sees the glass as being half empty. Joe Adams turned around and gave me a big differentiator. He said it depends entirely on whether you're pouring or you're drinking. I'll let that sink in for a while. The glass half full or half empty depends whether you're pouring or drinking. It's back to give it to me or make it happen, isn't it? Key differentiator in life. This chapter is actually titled Count Your Blessings. I was sitting in my office one day and I suddenly thought, how many people actually do count their blessings? It's a bit of a trite phrase, isn't it? Count your blessings. But how many people actually do? So I did. I started. Here is my book with all my blessings. One way I illustrate this is look at a wall. Find a wall around you and look at it. A blank wall. And really look at the wall. Now, when I'm coaching or working with a group of people and I get them to do this exercise, nobody ever tells me they see the wall. The wall that divides this space from that space, that holds the ceiling up. All they see is the blemishes, the dinks and the dents and the black marks and the scuffs. Everybody sees the flaws. Now, we're geared to look for flaws. Evolutionary, it's the flaws that differentiate the background from the foreground, and it can be a matter of survival. So it's okay looking at discrepancies, but what is the real positive sitting in there? What's the positive that you're ignoring? And so what I did was I started writing down what I've considered to be all my victories, and I put them in what I call my victory book. I think it was a couple of chapters back I said the faintest of ink lasts longer than the best of memories. And that's the first quote inside here. But these are all jobs well done, things that I can recognise, where I've been recognised, things that were good. And in my list, this is my very original list, the first thing on my list, my son being born. Count your blessings, get a piece of paper, get yourself a book, start writing them down, count your own blessings. Because I can guarantee you that if you ever get down, and you want to lift yourself, go back and read through them and you will chuckle. I've got 375 in my book. Join me. Get your own victory book. If you've liked this chapter, give it the thumbs up, comment on it, share it with your friends. Come back tomorrow for episode 21 of the Quiet Man series. Thank you very much.